Hi everybody, I'm Greg. Welcome to Goodbye Glutenware.
Saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste.
So please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel.
So today we're going to be making an awesome treat for you all. I've seen people use it as a dessert. People just use it as a normal item, you know, with their dinners or for breakfast, but it is banana bread. Yes, banana bread. I'm going to be making you gluten-free banana bread that will fool all those people you know that are like, I don't eat gluten-free food, they're too gross. This is soft, it's moist, it's yummy. It's not going to suck all the moisture out of your head, and it is extremely easy to make. So let's get to see what you're going to need for this awesome banana bread. Okay, take two. So what you're going to need is basically set out right here. Okay, obviously you're going to need bananas. Okay, you want the ones that are nice and spotted like this. If they're solid black, you don't want to use them. Okay, but nice spotted bananas are perfect because what it is, it's mostly sugar and banana flavor. There's really no nutrients left in the banana. If you want nutrient bananas, you got to get them where they're, you know, nice and green right there. Okay, so you're going to want 5 tablespoons of softened shortening. If you want to use bread, go ahead. I suggest not using oils for this. Okay, you can use lard if you want. Same aspect with shortening. I'm going to do 2 eggs and 1 egg white. That's why there's 3 in the bowl. 2/3 cup granulated sugar. If you want to use pure cane sugar, like sugar in the raw, go ahead. If you want to use brown sugar or honey, go ahead. The honey, you're going to need to lower the ratio down a little bit because you don't want too much liquid. Okay, you're going to need 1 3/4 cup flour. This is Bob's Red Mill baking flour. It's basically 1-to-1 baking flour. It's gluten-free. We get the 25-pound bags at the grocery, or not the grocery store, but the restaurant stores like Chef stores and Chef America stores, things like that. And it's a big blue bag, light blue bag. You can't miss it. You're going to want to need a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. We use Arm & Hammer, of course. And then about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We like Clabber because it's gluten-free and it's really great product. I suggest you guys get this one over the other kinds. Excuse me. You're going to need about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, or a pinch of nutmeg, a pinch of cloves, all right, about a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger powder, and about a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, and obviously you're going to need a 5x9 bake loaf pan, unless you're doubling the batches, then you need a couple of them. And you're going to need to have it greased, so you could either use shortening, butter. We use Pure and Simple's canola oil. It's a spray from Costco. They come in a bundle of 2. Not that expensive at all. I like them because they're really easy to use and they're really great product. Okay, you're also going to need 2 mixing bowls. Okay, 1 for the dry and the main mixing bowl, 1 for the wet, like the bananas, the eggs, the shortening, because you're going to need the shortening and the sugar blended together. Okay, so that's for that part. You can use like a KitchenAid. We have one, but I hate lugging that thing out for just a small little thing. I usually use it for like when I'm cooking or baking many different things. I need something to be on a mixer for a while without having to watch it. But I generally like, you know, handy mixer. You can use a spoon, it just takes a while. So let's get the process going. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. I'm just going to set that aside, move that out of the way. Take my flour, put it in the bowl. Okay, now I'm going to take the baking powder, or baking powder, sorry. The salt and the baking soda. Those out of the way. Okay, and take a little bit of the nutmeg. Because nutmeg is one of those ones that is pretty powerful spice. You don't need a lot of, just like cloves, you don't need a lot of it. And the thing is when people will come into your house when this thing's baking, they're gonna be like, oh, she's making pie, right? Next thing you know, it's banana bread. I mean, if you really love the cinnamon smell, you can add up to like a teaspoon or two. It's mainly up to you. What you like in your pie spice mixture, go ahead and go with that. And I'm just gonna Okay. Oh my God, it's already starting to smell good. So I'm gonna put this on low and just give this a quick stir. And that's it. Set that aside. Okay, get our bananas going. Just gonna put them right in there. Because you don't really have to worry about smashing them right now too much, because of the sheer factor is it's going to be blended into the thing. So I'm just gonna kind of mush them a little bit, and actually probably better use a fork. Fork. Get that out of the way. Alright, just mush them together. You need about a cup of bananas, which is basically 2 normal sized bananas. Cool thing about a lot of the stores nowadays is instead of buying, a bunch of bananas and waiting for some to go really ripe, you can go to the stores and get their overripe bananas. They're usually like a day or so ahead. You could ask the produce guide, you got any overripe bananas, so you can make banana bread or something like that. And they'll usually be like, okay, here you go. So we got that ready. Let's separate our eggs. Try not to get them to roll around everywhere. Now, if you get tiny little fragments of eggshell in your eggs, don't worry about it. I mean, it's not like it's poison. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to choke anybody. Obviously, it's a big chunk. You don't want it in there, right? Now, here's a way to separate the yolk from the egg, because I've noticed that a lot of people I've talked to, they don't know how to do that. They rely on a little apparatus. Right down the middle. Okay, open up with the top side, the pointy side down. Okay, so you see the egg yolk still there. And it's going to go ahead, and then I'm going to basically let that trickle out. Do it one more time. Okay, and now you got one separated egg yolk. I'll go ahead and stick this in compost or garbage. So now our eggs are done. Here's one of the most tedious parts of it. Because this is probably going to take you about 4 minutes to get this blended together. Sugar. Now, if you're saying, well, I don't have that much time, you can actually put the bananas in the same time you're doing the shortening. So I'm going to be doing this for 4 minutes. Okay, 4 minutes is up. So if you look at it, it looks almost like a paste. It's smoothish. You know, that's literally what we want. So now I'm just going to add in my eggs. Okay, because some recipes will say add 1 egg at a time. You know, I don't worry about that. Okay, I'm just going to blend this till it's smooth. The sugar is mostly kind of basically dissolved. I'm going to put this on high to beat some air into the yolk mixture, or egg mixture. Okay, now it's nice and bubbly. Going to add in our bananas. Now, some of the recipes I've read over the years will say alternate bananas with flour. I don't do that. Straight up. I've learned a lot about cooking over the years, and a lot of the stuff, alternate flour and stuff, it's not really necessary. And it's generally because the person who's doing that is not really too sure on their combination and amounts of flour. And also, well, it does actually kind of work if you're in higher altitudes, like if you're up in Colorado or those high mountain areas where you're up in the elevation over 6,000 to 7,000 feet. Then yeah, you probably want to do that a little bit, because that drastically changes the ratio of flours, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so I'm only going to add in, whoops, try to do a little bit of flour at a time. Okay. Move all this stuff out of the way. Now, I want to thank you, all you viewers, especially you new-time viewers that are just first showing up to Goodbye Gluten. Thank you very, very much for joining and watching the channel. For all you who are return viewers, thank you very much for checking us out again. Special thanks for all you people who are subscribers. Okay, I really, really appreciate y'all doing that. Especially everybody who hits that like button and shares our videos. And some people have asked me recently, you know, why do you guys do a gluten-free channel? Well, when I was first diagnosed with celiac back in 2006, there was no products labeled gluten-free, none. I mean, it was pretty depressing. I mean, I'd spend hours going through the aisles just trying to figure out what I could eat. You know, and even then, modified food starch wasn't classified, you know, corn or, you know, wheat. You know, so that was a big thing I had to look out for. So I'm doing roughly about a cup, about a half a cup at a time. Rest of that baby in there. I guess I could have just poured that in there, but it's okay. I mixed the bowls up. This was supposed to be where the flour was. This is where the banana and all the other stuff were supposed to be. But as you see, it works out pretty good. It's just with the bigger bowls, you have one less risk of a huge mess. Get this all nice and smooth. And incorporate a lot of air into that. Okay. Oh. That side. Now, one thing we need to do, go ahead and put our sprayer in there. This is pretty simple. That's it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and just dump this right into our bread loaf pan. Make sure you get every little great morsel out of this baby. There we go. Now I try just to kind of smooth it out a little bit, not too much. Because when this goes into a super liquid state, it'll even out. Oh, that's so good. Now to the oven. Okay, into the oven for 50 minutes and then check it then.
Banana bread.
Okay, it's been 50 minutes. As you can see, it looks really good. So I'm going to take a bamboo skewer. So there's a little bit of stuff, so I'm going to put it in for about another 6 minutes. Okay, it is done. Look at that. It is looking so good. Now, one thing you need to do immediately, slide that baby right on out.
And do not set your glass pan on anything cold.
Hot. Careful of that because it is hot. This way, like I learned a long time ago, if you leave it in there, that the whole side will get soggy and just will stick.
Now comes the hardest part.
Waiting for it to cool. Now remember, folks, this has to cool for at least 2 hours.